What's up, everybody? iIrvingTV here, double I TV, whatever you want to call me, as long as it's nothing that's disrespectful or derogatory or whatever. And I'd like to welcome y'all to the very first episode of my brand new podcast, Squirrel Moments. I am very happy to be doing this podcast. I've been planning it for a while now, and yeah, very first episode of Squirrel Moments. Now for those that's watching the video version, because I'm doing both a video version and an audio version, but for those that's watching the video version on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/iIrvingTV, y'all already know who I am. But for those that's tuning in to the audio version for the first time, or might be coming across the video version for the first time, let me go ahead and introduce myself. This episode is basically gonna be me introducing myself, just letting y'all know who I am, why I'm doing this podcast. I'm gonna touch on a little bit of news stuff, and then we're gonna see how it goes from there. So yeah, so again, let me introduce y'all to myself. My name is Ira. I'm a gaming content creator. I have a YouTube channel, which is iIrvingTV. I do mainly gaming content. Well, I do gaming content. I've been doing content creation for 3 years now. When I first started doing content creation, I was doing all type of content. I was doing vlogging, I was doing car videos, I was doing all kind of crazy stuff. And then I after a while, I decided to focus more on gaming, because gaming is my passion. So I do mainly gaming. Also do unboxing videos like tech and all that kind of stuff. And the tech videos that I do unboxing for is for I'm all over the place. The tech that I do gaming tech and also other equipment like cameras and all that stuff. And I like to do affordable tech because, one, I'm not sure if y'all know, but I'm not a full-time content creator, and I'm not making money off this right now. So I do work a full-time job, so I don't have a lot of money. I'm gonna be truthful with y'all. I'm just a regular working citizen, just like everybody else. So I don't want to spend a lot of money on equipment. So that's why I do like the unboxing. I do the unboxing for the equipment that I use, and not only that, for people that want to get into content creation, I want to steer people to the right direction as far as, like, affordable stuff that's also not cheap and easily breakable and all that kind of stuff. And even if it was easily breakable, if you take care of your stuff, it's gonna last a while. I have stuff from Five Below that I've had for like a few years now. But anyway, I'm going all over the place. I also do live stream on my channel. I try to do it once a week, but again, because I do work full time, I might not be always able to stream, but I have been consistent lately. I've been very consistent with my live streams. So I do stream once a week. What else do I do as far as content creation? I also have an Instagram, iIrvingTV, Twitter, iIrvingTV, Snapchat, iIrvingTV. I recently made a TikTok. I haven't put a video up there yet, but eventually I'm gonna start putting videos on my TikTok soon. And I was very apprehensive about doing a TikTok, and the reason why, and hold on, before I go any farther, y'all gonna notice I go all over the place, and that's the reason why I named the podcast Squirrel Moments, because, and I'm very open about this, I have ADHD. So there'll be times I'll be talking about one thing, the next thing you know, I'm on this topic, and I forget what the original topic was. So, and when they say when people have ADHD, they have squirrel moments, so they could be doing one thing, next thing you know, they see a squirrel go by, they're like, squirrel! And I'm like, oh, squirrel. Yeah. So, oh, okay. I accidentally unplugged my external hard drive. Lucky thing I'm not actively using it right now. But anyway, I'm all over the place. Squirrel moment. So y'all gonna see me have a lot of squirrel moments. Where was I at? Talking about TikTok. I was very apprehensive about doing a TikTok at first, but after a while, I was watching another content creator that goes by the name of the Black Hokage, and he was saying how, because the reason why I didn't want to make a TikTok is because the reason why I didn't want to do a TikTok, because when TikTok first came out, all I saw was these crazy dance videos, you know, teenagers and kids doing these dance videos and all this stuff, and it didn't interest me at first. But after watching the Black Hokage, again, he's another content creator who I watch and listen to, because he also has a podcast. He was saying that when he went on there, he saw that not only just have the crazy dance videos, but it also have like financial advice. It has cooking videos, all kind of stuff. You know, educational stuff. It has all kind of stuff on there. So I decided to sign up for TikTok. And it was funny, the first night that I had TikTok, I was up until like 2 in the morning, like just watching TikTok videos, and I was laughing throughout the whole night. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so I'm gonna be on TikTok releasing content on there pretty soon. So but yeah, now as far as why I'm doing, hold on, before I go any farther. So just to let everybody know, I'm now doing donations. Well, I'm now taking donations. So if you want to support the podcast, support the channel, or whatever, you can support through my Cash App, which is iIrvingTV, iIrvingTV. You're not obligated to donate. You don't have to donate. Don't feel bad if you can't donate. If you can't, that is fine. Don't feel like you're forced to. Don't feel bad at all. But if you want to support the podcast and support the channel, you can go ahead and again, iIrvingTV. So, and if you do decide to donate, I will gladly appreciate it, and I'm going to thank y'all in advance, and just, you know, whatever. So but again, y'all not obligated to. But anyway, now that that's passed, now the reason why I'm doing the podcast, there's many reasons why. Again, I am a content creator, and I don't just label myself a YouTuber. I mean, mainly my content is on YouTube, but the reason why I don't just label myself a YouTuber, because then I'll be limiting myself. So one of my goals is to become a full-time content creator. So that's why I work so hard. I put like 2 to 3 videos out a week, plus live stream and all that kind of stuff. I put out a lot of content out because I do want to be a full-time content creator and an entrepreneur. So that's why I work so hard at what I do as far as these videos and all that stuff. So yeah, that is my goal, to become a content creator. And in order to do that, I have to expand myself. So that, just like the TikTok thing, I said I wanted to expand myself, so that's why I'm getting on TikTok now. But the reason why I'm doing a podcast is because I want to expand my brand. I want to do more. I want to create more content, and doing a podcast is part of content creation. So that's one of the reasons why. The second reason why, well, let me explain this backstory first. So I was apprehensive about doing the podcast, and the reason why is, I'm sorry, I'm laughing so much right now, and the reason why, because I just finished talking to my friend not too long ago. We was dying laughing. We was talking about some stuff, so that's why I'm like up here right now, because I had a good talk. But anyway, so I was apprehensive about doing the podcast, and the reason why is because, okay, so part of my content that I do, I also do what is called highlights and talks. So what that segment is, when I do my live stream, I talk about certain topics, talk about life, you know, certain things that is on my mind and all that kind of stuff. I just talk about certain aspects of life, whether it's professional, something that's, I don't want to say funny, because I'm not a funny person per se. You know, I'm not intentionally funny, I should say. But, you know, I talk about a lot of stuff, you know, entrepreneurship, life stuff, stuff that I encounter within life. Like I recently dropped I think a few weeks ago, and by the way, the date I'm recording this podcast is January 16, 2021. But a few weeks ago, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, I dropped a video about, you know, retail workers and all that kind of stuff. Y'all should go ahead and watch that Um, but when I do these live streams, I'm also recording my streams as well, so that way I can take out parts that I was talking about, something that I feel like that's important to me. I would chop that up, and make that into his own video, do some additional edits and all that stuff, and make it to his own video. So, and I felt like if I was to do a podcast, I feel like I would have been repeating that information. I was like, I didn't want to do too much repetition, and the neighbor's dog is out. That neighbor, I love my neighbors, but that dog stayed barking. That's a friendly dog, but that dog stays barking, and I'm having another squirrel moment. If you hear the dog in the background, I don't know if you can, but if you can, I do apologize. But I didn't want to repeat myself a lot. But then when I thought about it, when I'm live streaming, I'm doing a multitude of things. I'm playing the game, I'm commentating, I'm doing my commentary, and then I'm looking at my chat, the few people that's in my chat, because as of this date, as I'm recording this, I have just a little over 220 something subscribers, which isn't a lot, but every YouTuber start out with 0. So I'm not near 0, and I'm not at 0 anymore. So that's all that matters, and I work hard to get those subscribers. But anyway, backstory about my subscribers real quick. Last summer of 2020, I reached 100 subscribers. And then during the winter, I reached 200 subscribers. So I've been working hard. And I appreciate all my subscribers, everybody that's been watching my videos consistently, pressing the like button, dropping the comments and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate y'all. But again, I'm all over the place. We at 12 minutes right now, and I've talked about absolutely nothing. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, the first few episodes are probably gonna be terrible, but you got to keep going to get better. You got to get better, because if you see my content when I first started and to now, it's a big improvement. But anyway, apprehensive about doing the podcast and all this kind of stuff. Blah, blah, blah. What was I at? But y'all probably listening right now or watching like, what is he talking about? Like, what is this kid talking about? I'm about to press next. Forget this podcast. He's garbage. But hey, I can say that because this is my stuff. So, but there's an audience out there for everybody. But anyway, podcast. So, again, playing the game, commentating, looking at the chat, and I'm doing a lot. And I might be talking about a story. I might be explaining the story, and then depending on what game I'm playing, in which I play a lot of story-driven games. So something could be happening in the game, and I gotta pause myself. I could be like, oh wait, hold on, cutscene. All right. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, all right, what was I talking about? Or like, I remember what I'm talking about, but because I'm trying to rush out to get what I'm talking about, and I'm doing a multitude of things, I can't talk about. It's hard to talk about something in deep detail because I'm rushing through and I'm doing a multitude of things. But with a podcast, I can sit down and actually talk about that stuff, and I can fully explain. And plus, I have ADHD, so I can be all over the place while playing the game and all that stuff. And sometimes I feel like I don't explain stuff clearly, or whatever. So I just feel like I can talk about more stuff. I can actually sit down, talk about stuff in more detail and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. And then the other reason why, y'all gonna think I'm creepy once I say this, but I do like to talk. And sometimes I catch myself talking to myself. Yes, I said it. Sometimes I catch myself talking to myself. But hey, I give myself the best advice. But no, but like sometimes I might be listening to somebody else's podcast, I might be watching somebody else's video, and something might come up, and then I'm thinking to myself, not even thinking, I might speak out loud. I might pause that video and speak out loud about why I agree with this, or why I don't agree with this, or why this stick out to me. Next thing you know, it's 20 minutes later, like, dang, I was talking to myself for 20 minutes. Please send help. But yeah, so I just feel like I like to get out my opinions on things. I like to give my thoughts, my 2 cents on things. Now, before I go any farther, for anybody that's Hold on. I need some water real quick. Hold on, y'all. Doing all this talking makes your mouth dry. Now, let me say this real quick. On my podcast, I am a gamer content creator, but I talk about a lot of things. That being said, there's two things I don't talk about: religion and politics. And I don't know why I keep pressing on the top of my water bottle, but but that's the two things I don't talk about. I might brush on it just a tiny bit for the sake of a story, but that's about it. So if you guys that are listening and watching are apprehensive about those two topics, you ain't got to worry about that for me. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics. I keep that out of here, because with those two topics, you start wars with those. No, seriously, you do. Anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, as far as my goals for this podcast, again, I just want to expand my brand, because at the end of the day, this is my brand. This is what I want to do. Again, I want to become a full-time content creator. I want to become an entrepreneur. I just want to work for myself. I don't want to work for anybody else. And for people that been watching my content for a while now, I have expressed that before. I want to become an entrepreneur and all that kind of stuff. I expressed it before. So, but for those that don't know, I want to become an entrepreneur and a full-time content creator. So that's my goal with doing a podcast. And plus, with me doing a podcast, I feel like I can reach more people that way, because some people might not be on YouTube, but they might be, listening to a podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever platform y'all listen to, which I'm still trying to figure out what exactly platforms this podcast is going to be on, because I'm still trying to figure that out. But but yeah. And then, like, for people that don't have time to watch videos but do like the stuff that I'm saying, the stuff that I talk about, you could be on the road listening to the podcast, or you at work listening to the podcast, whatever. And plus, again, I get to expand. Somebody might come across my podcast, but like, oh, I like what he's talking about. Oh, he got a YouTube channel? What this guy look like? What he does? I'm interested in seeing his content. I got subscribers. But yeah, and this is what I love to do. I really have a passion for this, because what's funny is I actually already recorded the first episode, but then there was a lot of technical difficulties and I was mad, and I stayed up late at night to try to get everything fixed, and I had to go to work the next day. And what's funny is my job, I do a lot of driving on my job, so in between, I was on a break and I came home, fixed, try to test my equipment and fix my equipment and all that stuff, went back out, came back once I got off of work, and the first thing I did was came to this computer, try to figure stuff out for my podcast as far as the technical stuff. So I'm really passionate about this. This is what I love to do. And plus, as far as gaming goes, I've been a gamer all my life. That's what I'm really passionate about. I'm passionate about gaming. Unfortunately, with being an adult, I don't get to play as much as I used to, but it is what it is, whatever. But with being a content creator, it always brings me back to, being able to game and all that stuff. So it really pushes me to game even more when I'm creating content. But anyway, that is my goal for this podcast. It's just to expand the brand and, just to, bring in a bigger audience, because one of the original reasons why I created my YouTube channel, or started YouTube, whatever, is to just create a space and environment for everybody to just share what they like, to just create a community for people with like minds and have a safe space. I know it's the internet, so it's not exactly a safe space, but for me, for everybody that watches my content, partake in my content, whatever, you're safe for me. No judgment, whatever, unless you're a troll, then get out of here. But I feel like y'all safe for me. That's all I gotta say. No judgment here. Whatever anime, because I like watching anime as well. Whatever anime y'all like to watch, video games, you like to play, whatever you love to do, you're not getting no judgment from me. So that was my original goal when I started YouTube, just to create that space and create that community for people with the same mindset as me. So But anyway, though, that is my goal as far as this podcast and me being a content creator and all that stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and segue to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is again, this episode is going to be my introduction to me, who I am, and all this stuff. And as this podcast goes on from episode to episode, it's going to be less about me and more about other stuff that I like to, I talk about a lot of stuff. Like, if you go on my channel right now, for people that's not familiar with my content, who hasn't been watching, who's come across me the first time, if you go to my content, I talk about a lot of interesting stuff. So that I feel like that would help people out, because I want to talk about financial literacy and blah, 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 blah. Y'all will learn about that. I cannot talk. I can't talk. And there's certain words that I have difficulty saying, but anyway, whatever. But anyway, let's go ahead and segue to the next part of this podcast. Now, again, I did mention that I am a gamer, and I want to talk about some of my favorite games. These are some of my favorite games of all time. Now, the first one I'm going to say, and I made a video about this before, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. But the first one of my favorite. Let's drink some water real quick. It's like 10:08 at night, y'all, as I'm recording this, and I gotta be to work in the morning. But this is what I love to do, so it's all good. I'm happy being here. This is what I'm happy about. But one of my favorite video games is Halo. For all my gamers, you know exactly what Halo is. And while I did play Halo 1 and 2, Halo 3 is my favorite Halo game of all time. And the reason why I say that, because that's when I first got into online gaming. Because when I got my Xbox 360, that's when I first got into online gaming. And I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I love it also for a story as well. The story is also just as incredible. But during this time, 2007, I believe, when Halo 3 came out, in my personal opinion, 2007, 2008, squirrel moment. I'm having a squirrel moment. But 2007, 2008, I feel like was the best time for gaming, in my opinion, in my lifetime, in my experience. But I gotta make that clear. But that's when I got my 360. That's when I really got into online gaming. I just remember stay up late at night playing with friends, playing custom games and all that kind of stuff, trying to get all the achievement, playing on legendary mode and all that kind of stuff. Those was the good old days. But yeah, but I love Halo not just for the game itself, but also its universe. It has an expanding universe. There's books. Matter of fact, hold on. Now these are just one of the books that I have. I have a couple more, but hold on, let me see if I can. All right, let's not defocus the camera because it's a pain trying to get this camera focused. But they got books. They have movies. Ooh, that was nasty. But I don't know if y'all heard me. I kind of did a little water burp, but. It just has a expanding universe. It has comic books and all that kind of stuff. It has different mediums, and I like things that have like an expanding universe outside of its original medium. Let me go the other way real quick. I'm a big, huge Star Wars fan, and to see the reason why I love Star Wars, and I'm gonna talk more about Star Wars in a second. But the reason why I love Star Wars, not because just of the movies, although the movies are great. Pre-Disney. I'm gonna get more into that in a second. But but it has an expanding universe. So that's why I like Halo, because it has an expanding universe. And I like knowing about this character's backstory and all this stuff. But anyway, let's move on. The next game that I love is Gears of War. Again, the first Gears came out around the 2007-2008 period. During the 360 days, and I put so much time on Gears. And again, Gears have an amazing story, because I love story-driven games. Story-driven games are my thing. I love watching a good story and, you know, playing a game with a good story. Because on my channel, y'all will notice a lot of games that I play are story-driven. I don't do a lot of online multiplayer on my channel. I might do it here and there, but I do a lot of story-driven stuff because I love a good story. So Gears has an excellent story. They also have books as well that have an expanded universe. Not as big as Halo, but you know, I just love Gears. And then my favorite video game of all time that I tell everybody is Mass Effect. The Mass Effect trilogy. I haven't finished Andromeda yet for some reason, but the Mass Effect trilogy is awesome. So I'm a big sci-fi person, hence I love Star Wars. So Mass Effect is sci-fi driven, and it's definitely, again, I like story-driven games. It is very story-driven. So if you don't know what Mass Effect is, it's a sci-fi RPG game. If you don't know what RPG is, it's role-playing game. But yeah, you play as Commander Shepard, in which you can customize your character, but I like playing the base Shepard. And you can play both a male and the female Shepard. And what's incredible about it, because it's so story-driven, not only story-driven, you can also make certain choices that affects the gameplay. So you can decide whether to kill this person or keep this person alive. You can decide to date this person or date this person or not date nobody at all, and all this kind of stuff. And then the good thing about the trilogy is what you did in the first game affected the second game, and what you did in the first and the second game affected what happened in the third game. So if you kill somebody in the first game, of course they're not going to appear in the second and third one, but if you kept them alive, they're going to appear in the second and third one. And I don't know how many times I've beat the second one. I beat the second one so many times. And I just love, especially now, because I'm starting to play Mass Effect again. You know, I got all the DLC. So now I'm playing, you know, the DLC I didn't get the chance to play. And I'm just, like, fascinated. So I just love making those choices. And I love that it's very story-driven. And I feel like I'm a part of that universe. So that's why I love Mass Effect so much. It's just great, and I'm happy that they not only announced that they're making a remaster, although I'm kind of a little mad about that, because how I'm gonna start it again, because I have the 360 version on it. I have the 360 version. How I'm gonna start again? Y'all gonna announce a remaster version? But anyway, that's another story. But I'm happy that they announced that, and then they also announced that they're working on another Mass Effect game, which is going to continue off the original trilogy. How they going to do that, I'm not sure, but I'm happy about that. But yeah. And as far as honorable mentions of other games that I like to play, I would tell you one game that I played a lot when I was a kid, and that was Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh my, and I'm talking about the original 2005. I think Battlefront came out in 2000. Where's my phone at? Hold on. I think it came out in 2005. Let's see. Hold on. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yep, 2005. I put so many hours on that game because, again, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I put so many hours on that game because you get to, and I felt like I was a part of that universe because, like, I get to participate in all the battles that took place in the movies and all the battles that was outside of the movie. So just playing as a clone trooper, a rebel soldier, playing as Imperial trooper, stormtrooper, the droids. I put so many hours on that game, and it wasn't even funny. And I had it for both the PlayStation and the Xbox. The PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. But anyway, and speaking of Star Wars, that's going to segue into... I can't talk. But that's going to segue into the next topic, in which, you know, Star Wars. So I became a fan of Star Wars. I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember at its peak when I I remember when it started really taking off. Not Star Wars taking off, but when my love of Star Wars really took off. is when Revenge of the Sith came out around that time, which was in 2005. I liked Star Wars before then, but that's when it really took off because that was the first time I saw a Star Wars movie in theaters. And then that Christmas, I got so many Star Wars toys. It's not even funny, which I still have to this day. Now, what's funny, if you're watching the video version, if you look behind me, you see my bookshelf of Star Wars books. I have a lot of Star Wars books. I have a lot. And what's funny is, out of all the Star Wars books that I have, this is only a portion of what's available out there. This is probably only 10-15% of what's out there. And this is a lot of books, and I haven't even finished reading all of them. And all the Star Wars books that I've read, this is only just the ones that I own. I've read other Star Wars books that I don't own. Like, you know, I go to the library, check them out and all that kind of stuff. That's why I had to stop going to the library, because every time I go, I knew exactly where the Star Wars books at. Star Wars books at. I would go to that section and check out like 2, 3, 4 Star Wars books and knock them out. But what got me into Star Wars was funny. I knew what Star Wars was when I was a kid, but I was like, okay, just another movie, couple movies, you know, stuff like that. But what really got me into Star Wars, 2 things: the games and then the books. Because I used to play a lot of Star Wars games growing up. And then when I start reading the books, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much. This is a, because you know, it's this expanded universe, and I love sci-fi. I love space and ships and different planets and all that kind of stuff. So Star Wars had that. And then this is the thing about Star Wars. So let's just say you're watching Star Wars, right? And you see a character. You might see that character for literally only 5, maybe 10 seconds, get only 10 seconds of screen time. But then in one of these books, there has a backstory on that character you only saw for 10 seconds. Like, for example, Phantom Menace, episode 1. There's this Jedi called Yaddle, which is in the same species as Yoda. You only see her for like literally 3 seconds. Probably not even that long. It was just a quick shot. You don't even see her that long. But then there's books and comics about her backstory. No, I don't even know if there's a backstory about her, but I do know there's books and comics about her that give her more shine than they did in the Phantom Menace. Star Wars just has this huge universe. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Like, even with A New Hope, with Greedo, even though he was only on screen for like a minute or 2 before Han shot him, and in the original, Han just shot him. There ain't no, Han shot him first and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't even that. Han just shot him. Even though Greedo was only on the screen for a minute, there's a huge backstory about Greedo. Now, when I got into Star Wars, it was pre-Disney. Now, for those that don't know, years back, George Lucas sold Star Wars, or Lucasfilms, to Disney. Disney bought it from him. But before, that's why I keep saying pre-Disney. So before Disney, it was already an established, expanded universe. But when Disney bought them, they kind of erased the expanded universe to say, hey, only the movies, the Clone Wars, and certain books were canon, but everything that was released from here on out is canon. And I keep looking at the wrong camera because I have a webcam right here, and then I have another camera right here, and then of course I keep looking at the screen just to make sure everything is working fine. But but after Disney bought them, they label everything that was in that expanding universe as Legends. So now it's split. Star Wars is kind of split into 2 now, per se. So you have Legends, which was everything that was Star Wars before Disney, and then post Disney, which is canon. So yeah, there's that, which I didn't exactly agree with it, but I know why they did it. They just wanted to have that open space for their writers and creators to be able to write freely without a lot of restrictions. Now, that being said, as far as the sequel trilogy goes, I know a lot of people had their opinions about it. Even I have my opinions about it. I still enjoyed the movies, but you can tell they rushed it. They didn't. I'm not gonna say they didn't put a lot of thought into it, but they was trying to just rush it. They didn't have a clear storyline that they wanted to go with and all that kind of stuff. And there was a lot of stuff that I disagreed with the sequel trilogy. I still enjoyed them, but not as much as the prequel and the original. That being said, other than the sequel trilogy, they have done everything else right, in my opinion. Rebels was good. I know people labeled it as a kid show, and while it is a kid show, if you love the story of Star Wars, especially if you're a fan of the expanded universe before Disney bought them, you will love Rebels because it brings back some of those characters. And it's just such an awesome story. And then it's just, oh yeah, anyway, let me go forward. Rogue One was freaking amazing. Solo was decent. It wasn't this outlandish thing, but it was decent. The books that they released, amazing. The comic books they've been releasing, amazing. The video games they've been releasing, decent. So they have been getting everything right. The sequel trilogy, they just kind of I don't want to get too much into it because then that creates toxicity, and you know, and again, I want this to be a safe space for anybody, but that's just me expressing my opinion. These are my opinions and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want things to get toxic in this. Again, this is a safe space. So that being said, I will always love Star Wars. I will always love Star Wars to this day, even though I don't agree with a lot of the decisions. Even when George Lucas still owned Star Wars, there were some decisions that he made that I didn't agree with, but I still love Star Wars to this day. Especially, oh, I forgot to mention, talk about stuff that they've been doing right. The Mandalorian. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry for that loud bang, but The Mandalorian, I feel like Star Wars, Disney, Lucasfilm just need to focus on stuff that isn't a trilogy. They do well when it's not a trilogy. They've been doing well with everything. It's just the sequel movies. The Force Awakens was good. You know, it started off good and then it just But anyway, again, my opinions, I don't want to start nothing toxic. But I will continue to be a Star Wars fan. Like, you will see me with Star Wars clothes. I ain't got Star Wars clothes now. For those that's not watching the video version, that's listening, I actually have my own t-shirt on with my face on it, with my my logo and my YouTube channel on there. So I'm not selling them yet, but I'm working on that. I'm working on a lot of stuff. Things take time and money, mostly money. But you need the time to make the money. So squirrel moment. But I have a lot of Star Wars t-shirts, all that stuff. Actually, what's funny is I have this, it's not a mask, but this Boba Fett little neck garter, whatever it is. Let's just call it a mask, the Boba Fett mask that I had. I was at 7-Eleven one day and I just saw it. I said, you know what, I gotta buy it. And then like, but again, and the Star Wars books that's behind me, that's only a portion. That's my largest collection. But okay, so mind you, I'm in the chill room right now, which I make majority of my content, actually all my content, where I game, where I chill and all this stuff. But then I have my bedroom, in which I have a Star Wars collection in there as well on my bookshelf. So yeah, when it comes to Star Wars, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Like, literally, I tell everybody, if you ever want to give me a gift, you can never go wrong with anything Star Wars. But anyway, I'm all over the place because we're at the 40-minute mark. But but that just shows y'all that I can talk about a lot of stuff. But anyway, but yeah, I just love Star Wars. And speaking of Star Wars, let's get into some gaming news real quick. So recently, I'm gonna read this article from StarWars.com. So let's go ahead and switch over real quick. All right. So again, this article is from StarWars.com, and it reads as follows. It says, Lucasfilm Games begins a new era. So Lucasfilm's legacy in gaming stretches back decades, and with Lucasfilm and the galaxy far, far away entering a new and unprecedented, y'all know what I'm trying to say, unprecedented phase of creativity. Y'all making fun of me. Y'all know what word I'm trying to say. I'm highlighting on the video version, but those that's listening, I know y'all just like, what is he talking about? Like, what? Did he graduate high school? Yes, I graduated high school, and I'm currently in school right now. I'm actually in college right now. But anyway, I've taken a break from college right now. But I am in college. Anyway, I am educated. I know how to read. But anyway, so well the world of Lucasfilm Games developing collaboration with the finest studios across the industry. StarWars.com is thrilled to reveal that Lucasfilm Games is now the official identity for all gaming titles from Lucasfilm, a name that encompasses the company's rich catalog of video games and its eyes towards the future. To mark this new era, Lucasfilm Games has launched social channels on Twitter and Facebook, which will deliver breaking news and more directly to fans. You can watch a special sizzle reel celebrating the history of games from Lucasfilm below. The Lucasfilm Games logo featured above will appear in all future Lucasfilm Games titles. So if you're watching the video version, this is the logo right here. Now, before we go any farther, let me explain this a little bit. So if you don't know, when Disney first, before Disney bought Lucasfilm, when any Star Wars game that was created before Disney was made under the banner of LucasArts. You might be familiar with that. So LucasArts was in charge of all the Star Wars games and Indiana Jones as well. But I think they made other video games outside of those two. But they was in charge of making the Star Wars games, and they reach out to all the studios, different type of studios and publishers to make their games for them and all that kind of stuff. Well, when Disney bought Lucasfilms, they closed down LucasArts, unfortunately, which I was kind of mad about, because I was like, they made good games, and plus you took away people's jobs. Come on, Disney. But anyway, you could have just bought them out and continued to make games from them. But when they did that, they had an exclusive license with EA for EA to make all the Star Wars games. So they did the Star Wars Battlefront remake, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2015. Then, of course, the 2017 version, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2. I said that backwards. The remake of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I thought the second one was great. And I'm gonna get to that in a second. But of course, you have. Let me pull up the games. Actually, give me a second. You have Squadrons. Then you have Jedi Fallen Order. And then, of course, some of this mobile games and all that kind of stuff as well. So only EA at the time was making the Star Wars games. But now with Lucasfilm Games, they are now going out to other studios. Other gaming studios can now create Star Wars games as well. So, and I think the reason why they're doing that, because after the whole controversy with Star Wars Battlefront 2, with the loot boxes and all that kind of stuff, the pay to win and all that kind of stuff, Disney was like, whoa, wait a minute, maybe we can't entrust EA, just EA to make, to make the Star Wars games. Because the thing is, the games they made wasn't bad, it was just, so EA has weird, if you don't know, EA has weird business practices and some shady business practices. Now, they own a lot of studios, they're responsible for a lot of games, but they're a little bit shady. Like, they do a lot of microtransactions. They do a lot of microtransactions. If you don't know what microtransactions is, it's like when you have the game, but you can purchase stuff within the game. Now, the problem, I don't mind microtransactions when it's like skins and DLC, such as maps and all that kind of stuff. But when you start going to the pay to win portion of it, that's when it gets problematic. So, okay, so let me explain this real quick for those that don't know. Because I know I'm going to have some listeners that's not into gaming that much that's listening to me. So, okay. So let's just say I buy a game, right? But I just buy the game and I'm playing online and all that kind of stuff. And I have to grind to get certain weapons and armor and all that stuff. I have to level up naturally. But then there's some people that buy the game but also spend hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars on certain things to give them advantage over other players. And that was the big controversy with Star Wars Battlefront 2. So they eventually changed it up where it was no longer pay to win, but EA is notoriously known for pay to win and microtransactions and all that stuff. And again, I don't mind microtransactions because it takes millions and millions and millions of dollars to develop these games. And with games now, they're constantly, even after it's released, they're still releasing updates, patches, and all this stuff. So even after the game is released, they're still developing the game to make it even better after release. So development cost is expensive, millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I understand the microtransactions, but it was just, they was doing the pay to win and they was being sneaky about it. So that's probably why Disney did that. But I'm all over the place. But speaking of that, after this announcement, then this announcement came up. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article from The Verge. Let's switch over real quick. So here we go. Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game. So let's go ahead and read. I'm just going to read a little bit of this because everything else is not as relevant to this story. But the studio behind The Division is making the game set in a galaxy far, far away, according to a report from Wired. Today, Ubisoft, and this article is kind of old. I know I'm kind of behind on this news, whatever, but anyway, it's still Star Wars. I like to talk about this stuff. But today, Ubisoft announced that its Swedish studio, Massive Entertainment, is making an open world video game that's set in the Star Wars universe. There are no details on when the game will launch, on what platforms or what slice of the Star Wars universe it will explore. The game will be built using Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine, which is best known as the tech behind the Division series. So yeah, so Ubisoft is now working on an open world game, and the camera just cut off. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. All right, hold on. Let me get this fixed up. All right, so now that I got that fixed, we had a little technical difficulty. That's why I look at this second screen a lot, because if anything happens, I can catch it early instead of like way down the line. I made a video about this before, about me being paranoid about, me making content and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm glad I caught it early. But anyway, moving on. But long story short, Ubisoft is making an open world Star Wars game, and I'm kind of glad for that, because people have been requesting an open world Star Wars game for a while. And I know we have Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it's an MMO RPG. So while it is open world, there's a lot that's going on in there. So that sort of counts, but not really. And plus, that's pre-Disney. So, but yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for this, because again, the Star Wars video games is what really got me into Star Wars, and I'm trying to make sure my stuff ain't acting up and this, that, and the other. So I'm gonna go ahead and close these articles out. Boop. Boop. But anyway, yeah. So that's a little bit of gaming news. Now, if you don't know who Ubisoft is, they're responsible for a lot of good video games. Like, for example, all the Tom Clancy games such as Ghost Recon, Rainbow Six, what else you have? Splinter Cell is Tom Clancy. Yeah, and then of course, Assassin's Creed. So, hold on, let me just make sure everything's working, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, y'all. All right, there we go. But yeah, they're responsible for Assassin's Creed, The Division. So yeah, I kind of trust them with it. I know with Assassin's Creed, they've been kind of going at a weird direction. I haven't played Valhalla yet. I also haven't played Odyssey yet, although Odyssey is on my list because the game is now like $15, $20 now. I did play Origins. Origins was good. I did like Origins. So, But yeah, that's it for gaming news and all this stuff. Now, before I close out this podcast, and I know this podcast is kind of it's a bit iffy, but hey, it's the first episode, stuff happens, and we're gonna work out the kinks throughout. But before I end this podcast, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about. So again, I like to talk about stuff that I feel like that will help out people and all this stuff. I just like to give out information. So recently, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts because my new job that I have, I do a lot of driving. So lately, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. And I was listening to Jeezy's podcast. Also, that's another thing about me. I love hip-hop. I love rap music. So I love hip-hop. I love hip-hop. If you, like, even now, like the music that I'm going to be using for this podcast, you probably can hear it. I love hip-hop music. I grew up with hip-hop music, but anyway, I'm going all over the place. Squirrel moment. But what was I saying? Right. So I was listening to the Jeezy podcast, which is the Recession podcast, and he had Freeway on the rapper Freeway, who was from Rockefeller Records. The rapper Freeway, and you know, they was talking about health, because if you don't know, Freeway was diagnosed with kidney failure. And when he was diagnosed with that, he had to go to dialysis about 3-4 times a week and all that stuff. And one of the things that he was saying was the way that he got kidney failure, the way that it happened. Where am I going with this? Oh yeah, the way that it happened was he wasn't taking care of himself. He was eating whatever he wanted to eat, drink whatever he wanted to drink, smoking and all that kind of stuff, just not living healthy. And then, like, well, before the kidney failure happened, he was diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure, and he wasn't taking care of himself. So that's how he got the kidney failure. Now, fortunately for him, through the greatness of, okay, I said I wasn't gonna talk about how, religion and all that stuff, but whatever higher power he believes in or whatever, he was able to get a transplant, and he's doing much better now. He lost a lot of weight and all this stuff. He eat much better and all that kind of stuff. But that brings me to this. Take care of yourself. When you're a teenager and you're in your 20s and all that kind of stuff, you think you're invincible. You think, oh, I'm good, I'm young, I can eat, I can drink, I can smoke, do whatever. Then you reach 30, 40, you have all these health problems, taking all this kind of medicine and all that kind of stuff. Because here's the thing. Here's another backstory. Here's a little more knowledge about me. I used to work in the pharmacy. I was a pharmacy technician. And when I was working in the pharmacy, I used to see people who was taking 10, 15 medications, was getting 3, 4, 5 boxes of insulin, weighed 300-400 pounds, which is not healthy at all. And I'm just looking at these people and I'm like, how? Like, you got all this going on. And I know I'm not the smallest person in the world right now, but I've mentioned in my channel before, I'm on a weight loss journey, and I've been fluctuating with that, but I'm actively trying. Like, I got a water bottle in my hand right now. Actually, let me take a sip of water real quick, because my mouth is getting dry, because I've been talking for 50 something minutes straight. But I've been trying, because I had an epiphany when I was working at the pharmacy, because most of these diseases like diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, did I say high blood pressure already? I don't know if I did, but all that stuff can be prevented by taking care of yourself, exercising. You ain't got to do a large amount of exercises. Just going outside and taking a walk for a day for like 15 minutes and stuff like that. Just simple stuff. You don't have to go to the gym every day, all that stuff. But you have to take care of your body, because you only have one body. And then when you get to your 40s and 50s, you all broken up and all this kind of stuff. You're like, man, I wish when I was young I was taking care of myself better. And my epiphany was when I was working at this pharmacy. When I was working at the pharmacy, there was this guy. He was real cool. And he was only in his late 40s. So he wasn't old. He wasn't that old. He was cool and everything. But then one day he had a heart attack and died. And the thing was, I knew his wife and all that kind of stuff. And that's where that epiphany hit. I was like, this could be me. Now, I was never crazy with my eating habits and all that. Well, I was a little crazy because I'm a little plump, But I actually lost a decent amount of weight. Because at one point, I was 250 pounds. And I'm now like 230 something. I was actually in the 220s. Then I kind of gained some of that weight back. And then I lost it again. But, I've been actively trying to take care of myself. The thing is, I've never was really a soda person, but I don't drink sodas. I might drink a little juice here and there, but I don't drink a lot of juice. I've been drinking a lot of water. There was one point in life where I could not drink water to save my life. Now I drink a lot of water. I can drink it like it's nothing now. But, I eat better. I'm not just putting whatever in my mouth. I cut back on my sugar intake. I still like candy and stuff. Don't get me wrong. And if you follow me on Instagram, I've been getting that birthday cake pie lately. Oh, gosh. And I've been telling everybody, that birthday cake pie is crack. But I'm staying away from it now. I mean, I still like my candy because, I like sour candy, gummies, and all that stuff. But I don't eat it as much as I used to. So I'm doing much better. I feel much better. But yeah, seeing these things, seeing people where their health was, taking 10, 15 medications, I just told myself, I can't do this. No. And then I remember here's another epiphany. And I talked about this in another video before. And I'm about to wrap this podcast up in a second because this has been going on for almost an hour. But but I remember I was at my mom's house for her birthday and we was taking pictures. And my dad was looking at the pictures and he wasn't making fun of me or anything, but he was like, Dad, compared to everybody else, Ira looks like a giant. And it hit me right down like, I can't do this being big anymore. I can't do it, and all this kind of stuff. So now I'm trying to I've been putting effort into trying to lose weight and all that stuff. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm not one of those people say that's like, I've been trying to lose weight. Keep talking about it. Say, oh, I failed. I'm gonna get back on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. So that's the end of that conversation. But yeah, just everybody that's watching right now or listening, because I know I have a younger audience. I acknowledge the fact that I have a younger audience. So for people that's listening right now, please take care of yourself while you're young. Try to do some exercise. Eat the right stuff. And I mean, if you don't know what to eat, what the right stuff to do, just Google it. We're in the information age now where like you can literally like I did earlier when I was trying to figure out what year Battlefront 2 came out on. I literally looked it up and pulled it up in less than a minute. You can Google anything now. So just take care of yourself. Drink a lot of water. And I'm not saying you have to give up I'm not saying give up everything that you love, because you still got to have your pleasure food from time to time, but just take care of yourself. Seriously, health is wealth. And like, you might have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, next thing you know, all your money is going towards medical bills, doctors, and all that kind of stuff. Because what people don't realize is a lot of diseases are preventable. If you just take care of yourself, you can. And another epiphany that I had, and this is recent. Some family members of mine recently had cancer, had to have surgery for cancer and all that kind of stuff. And then my dad recently had a colonoscopy, which they didn't find anything cancerous as far as I know. But it just got me thinking, like, I'm 27 right now, and I'm like, I'm gonna get old eventually, and I want to be when I'm like 40 and 50. By the time I have grandchildren and all that stuff, I want to be able to chase after my grandchildren, and all this kind of stuff. I want to live to see my grandchildren. So because even like people my age are having heart attacks, obesity, and earlier today, there's another YouTuber by the name of Omi and the Hellcat, and he's a cool person and all that stuff. But it's no secret that he's a big guy. And he recently got hospitalized and kind of found out he has diabetes. And he's around my age, might be a little bit older, but he's around my age. And to be around my age to have diabetes, a serious health issue that could kill you. Just all I gotta say is, people, please take care of yourself. That's all I gotta say. I'm just gonna leave it there. But yeah, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this podcast. If you're still listening, still watching, I appreciate you, because this podcast is this first episode is, woo. I know I'm all over the place and all this stuff, but that's why I named the podcast Squirrel Moments, because I'm gonna be all over the place, and I think it was a fitting name. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's watching, that's listening. For anybody that's watching the video version, if you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and press the like button, go ahead and drop a comment. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, whichever platform this is going to be released on, go ahead and rate it, whatever the rating system works, however it works, 5 stars, whatever, go ahead and rate it. Again, I am now taking donations through my Cash App, $iIrvingTV. Again, you're not obligated to donate, but if you want to support the channel, support the podcast, I gladly appreciate it, and I'm just saying thank you ahead of time. So that's everything. And if you're not familiar with my videos, I end every video with this note: promoting peace, gaming, and wings.